In this video, we are going to talk about SOLIDWORKS templates, both the part file and the drawing file. And the first thing I want to do to get started is to bring in a template. And if we remember, all a template is a drawing file or a part file that has predetermined settings, and we can customize that if we want some setup things that we don't want to go back and change all the time, and we'll run through a couple of those. So I'm going to come up here to File and New, and this is my default box that SOLIDWORKS has. Notice I have a part file, an assembly file, and a drawing file. So I'm going to double click on part and bring in a blank file. And we want to customize this just a little bit. Maybe let's say I want to change the background from this gray to just a plain white. The other thing I like to do is I like to have a grid set up. So I'm going to come here to Options, and my options will come in. And I'm going to go to my Document Properties. And let's set up the grid and snap. That's what I said. So let's go to grid and snap and display the grid. Now the grid will only display when we're in sketching mode, and I like that because I know that we're in sketching mode. The other thing we want to do is make sure we're on ANSI standard. And if I pull down arrow here, I have multiple standards. So if your SOLIDWORKS wasn't loaded with an ANSI default, we can click it on right there. We can also go to our units, and if your SOLIDWORKS was loaded in millimeters, we can change that to inch, pound, second right here. And we can change our decimal precision here as well. So I'm going to just click OK, and I have that. But I want to be able to use this multiple times. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to File, and I'm going to go to Save As. And inside the Save As dialog box, instead of a part file, we're going to save this as a part template. So it's PRTDOT. So I click on that, and I can give it a name. And I'm just going to put, let's go, well, we are at Wasatch High School, Wasatch part template. Okay, I'm going to hit the Save button, and that will put it where it needs to go. Now when I go to File and New, instead of using this box right here, because if I just click on part, it's just going to give me the same box or the same part file I had before. I'm going to come down here and click on Advanced. Now I have some more options in here. We named ours Wasatch Part Template, so I'm going to double click that one. Now I have a brand new file. Notice my background is white. If I go to a sketch mode, it should have the grid on it. I should be in ANSI standards, and we're ready to go. So that's the first portion on how to set up a part template. We now want to talk about drawing templates in SOLIDWORKS. And the first thing I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to go File and New. And here are my default templates. So let's just start with a blank drawing template here again. And notice I have ANSI templates, A size, B size, C size, and so forth. So let's just open a B size landscape, and let's just start working with that. And so here is my B size landscape. The first thing I want to do is exit out of the model view, so I'm going to cancel over there. Now in order to get into the actual sheet itself, I'm going to right click and go to Edit Sheet Format. This allows me to go in and modify the fields inside of here. So if I don't want something, I can go ahead and just delete out whatever I don't want, manipulate this, add lines, and build my title block exactly the way I want it. I can take the line command and draw lines and so forth. I can take the text command and draw text lines and anything I want. Notice how this line came in really dark blue right here. Let's go and show you how I did that. If I click on a line, I've got this line font down here. Now if you don't have this toolbar, let's go ahead and figure out how to get that. Come to your ribbon up here, right click. I'm going to turn on line format, and it should come in. I'm just going to set it down here on the bottom. So as I highlight a line, I can change the thickness of that line to whatever I want down here, and it'll come in thick. and that's how I can change my thickness. So once I've built everything, I'm going to right click and edit the sheet, get back out, and I'm ready to move forward. Some other setup things we want to do are up here in the properties box, or the options box, excuse me. So as I open that up, let's look at some document properties again. Again, we want to make sure it's on our ANSI standard. If I go to annotations, we can choose our font right here. So here's my font. It's Century Gothic, which is what I like to use. My units are 1/8 of an inch, and I can just click OK and make sure that's set up. We can go set up our dimensioning the way that we want our dimensioning set up. Again, we can set our units the way we want our units set up. Maybe if we want 3 decimal places, we can 3 decimal places, inch, pound, second again as well. Now, every once in a while, when SOLIDWORKS is loaded, it's loaded with first angle projection. So we want to make sure that this is on third angle projection and not first angle projection. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to sheet number 1. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to go to the properties of this sheet. And once I bring that in, you can see that I have my choice of first and third angle projection. We just want to make sure that's on third angle projection. And I'm going to click OK. So once we have everything set up, we're going to go ahead and, let me find my other one right here. So here is my finished setup. I've got everything the way I want it. I've got the border exactly the way I want it. My title block is there, my border's there, my border lines are in. I've got my dimensioning set up, I got my units set up, and so forth. So I'm ready to save this out. The first thing I want to do is I want to save this actual sheet right here. So I'm up here, I'm going to go up to File and down to Save Sheet Format, and I'll show you why that's important here in a second. So under Sheet Format, maybe this is a Wasatch B size sheet. Okay, so I'm going to hit the Save button, and now I have the sheet saved as a B-size sheet of paper. The next thing I want to do is I want to save the template. So I'm going to go File, Save As, and this time I'm going to save it as a drawing template, and let's save it as Wasatch, and you can save it whatever you want it to be. So I'm going to save it as Wasatch High B Template 2, so I know what it is. And I'm going to hit the Save button. Okay, so let's close this out and make sure everything has worked the way that we want it to. And I'm going to get everything closed so we're brand new. So I'm going to go up to the New button. And again, I have my default here, but I don't want the default one. I want to go to the Advanced. And you can see that I have Wasatch High B Template 2 right there, so I'm going to double click it, and everything is in place. Here is my first sheet that I have added. Notice that down here it says B size, but I only have one sheet of paper. If I have multiple drawings, I need to have multiple sheets of paper down here. So as I click on the new sheet right here, notice it brings in the old B size template, which I don't want. So what I need to do is I need to update that. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to right click on sheet 7, and I'm going to go down to Properties. And under Properties, I'm going to browse out and find that sheet that I saved before. And there it is, Wasatch B Landscape. So as I double click that and click OK, notice it will update. Once I have done that, every time I add a new sheet, it will put in the same title block now on all of those. So that's why it was important to be able to save that sheet out so I can go back and reload it as I have multiple sheets down here. And that is our introduction to SOLIDWORKS templates.